Hi folks, welcome to Bear Mountain. Today we're planting our dried beans in our tunnel. And I just thought I would kind of show you, this is what these guys look like. They were started on the 1st of May? 1st of May. And we've had unusually cool weather. And even though we were going to be putting these guys in the tunnel, it took them a little bit longer to germinate than we'd thought. And then we decided, well, we're going to we've got this tunnel back here, we're gonna reskin this thing. And I've got old fabric cloths out that I've been trying to get ants and things off of. And so, I mean, it's kind of a bit of a mess, but since this tunnel is going to get reskinned this year, it hasn't really been well maintained, but it's going to be good enough for our dried beans, because actually the soil itself and the bed we're going to plant in is actually pretty fertile. Today we've got two different types. This is a Great White Northern and a cranberry. So a cranberry is kind of, in this one it's a style of bean, but it's actually a red bean that we're going to be planting. And these guys have really, it took them almost 14 days to germinate. We didn't really have them on heat, and so they went a little slower than normal. And then today is the 23rd, so we're probably maybe a week later than I really wanted to be to get these guys in the ground. But this is the first time we've had actually good spring weather. We've had a number of days now where we've been into the 70-degree range, and I want to make certain that when I put these guys in, that even in the tunnel, that I have good enough heat for them to grow on. Now these guys are bush type beans, and you can see that we've been fertilizing them with the JADAM liquid grass fertilizer on a 10-day. Once they came up, we kind of hit them twice during this period of time, and they've grown on excellently. We've hardened them off, and they just look so pristine right now. You know what happens when you go out in the field, there's always the slugs and things like that, but these guys should be hopefully really raring to take off. And when I take a look at the bottom of a typical 6-pack, they're a little leggy, but the roots really haven't come through that much. And so when we plant, we can go pretty deep up to the cotyledon, and hopefully, they should be just fine. One of the things that we are going to do is, before we plant them in, we're going to give these guys a soak in our this was our harvested leaf mold, and we're going to use just a handful of this in a paint strainer sack. You can get these guys at hardware store, paint stores, whatever, and then running a good stream of water over it. What that'll do, well, maybe I'll put a little more than a handful and a half. And what we're going to do is run water against this, and this will knock off a lot of the biology that's in it into this tray, with the idea, you can kind of massage it as I'm doing it. There, we got a nice good group of it, and I'm just going to put that in here because I'm kind of on a slope. So we knocked a lot of the good stuff off in here, and then what we'll do is give these guys like about a 3-minute soak until they're good and wet. And that'll do two things. That'll help us, I'm going to put a little more water in this guy. That'll help us get the roots inoculated, but at the same time, it'll also help us get slip the seedling right out of the tray a lot easier. So while that's soaking, usually the next thing I do is I go in there and I start using the dibble stick and make my grid of how I'm going to lay these guys out. The planting is actually going to go pretty fast. Once we get the holes dibbled in and these guys slip out of the 6-packs fast, we'll be able to zip through and get it planted. So let's go in there and take a look at the other part. Okay, inside the tunnel here, you can kind of see it's a little fuzzy around the edge of the bed. That's kind of the outside of the hoop house. One of the things we're going to do and reskin this house is is we're going to put down fabric cloth to the outside, but at least 1.5 feet, maybe 2 feet away from the edge. That was something that, you know, we didn't think about back in 2011 when we built this house. And this skin's been on here way too long. This is actually was put on in October 2011, or maybe no, it's 2012, excuse me. That 2011 was our first house way over there. But still the same, it's 10 years, and it's actually done pretty well for a 4-year greenhouse plastic.
It's a little rusty.
Well, yeah, we've got, I mean, the hoops have some rust on them because we'll probably repaint those guys again, put some Rust-Oleum on it or something, just to kind of keep it from, you know, getting rust on the plastic when we put the new plastic on. And so, I mean, you can kind of see, so what we're going to do is, you know, after we plant, part of the beans can grow here during the summertime, even when we take the skin off. Okay, so what I've done here is I've laid out, I got 3 drip lines here, and so what I want to do is I want to plant to the drip line, and I'm going to kind of probably use a wider spacing than if somebody, you know, had been sowing beans in the ground. They might have been satisfied with saying, well, you know, I'll leave 1 foot between the rows and, you know, inner row maybe 6 inches between the plants. But I'm kind of space this out for make it a little more equidistant, about 9 to 10 inches in terms of the grid. And that allows me to, in the earlier stages before things get too wild, to go back through with my collinear hoe if any kind of weeds sprout up. Now you may wonder about this stuff here. This is garlic that we, what was it, 2, maybe 3 years ago, we planted tulips in here. And we did an experiment about planting garlic with the tulips, and it actually worked pretty well. It kind of kept, I don't know, I mean, we didn't really have any bug problems at all with the tulips.
We didn't have any really rodents other than we had a fox that kept coming in and digging stuff up.
Yeah, and it kind of chased the rodents out too. And that could have been just lucky, I don't know, but it did work.
And it's back. And,
you know, if you miss, you know, pulling out a clove here or there, and then I've just kind of left it growing. I just figure, what the heck, you know, it keeps naturalizing and the clumps get a little bigger and bigger. So I don't care. I guess I'm kind of looking at it as like, well, you know, if I got beans in here and I got garlic in here, maybe
it's a good combo.
Maybe it's a good combination. So I'm leaving that as is. But this soil preparation for the bed was, we did, I only got to 3 treatments of JADAM microorganism solution. JMS. And I did that in about 5-day intervals. And it's really helped, I think, you know, kind of prime the soil a little bit, because actually to put the dibbler in, you know, I don't have to really go in that far. And the soil is nice and soft, and I think that can kind of help keep, you know, a good root system being formed. So the next step here is just pretty quick planting. So let's just get that done, get it out of the drench that we've been soaking it in, and then we can stick these guys in the ground. Well, we got them all in. This is the first couple of trays. I got 2 more trays up above, and then we're going to start another round. to finish this bed off all the way down. This is a 90-foot bed, and what we hope to get out of this is quite a few pounds of dried beans to kind of give us something to eat during the winter time, and also give us some seed stock for the next year, because all these seeds are either heirloom seeds or seeds that we save from prior year growth. So eventually what we're going to have in here is just basically everything that we saved. So the idea is that we can just kind of keep this going year to year to year. This will be the first time that we'd had enough seed to do a 100-foot row, or the 90-foot row. And if it works out well and we get a good harvest off of this stuff, we may end up doing like 2 90-footers. And I don't know what the exact poundage that we're going to get out of it, but when we did about a 30-foot row the last time, we ended up getting probably pretty close to about 5 or 6 pounds of good dried beans out of it, after, you know, sorting through the chaff, so to speak. So I would think, you know, that we should be able to get 15 pounds or better off of this.
And we've pretty much gone through them, haven't we?
Yeah, we've been eating them.
So
yeah, well, we saved some for seed, and then then we've been eating them, and they're actually the fresher ones as compared to like the store-bought ones. Since we have different varieties, we've got all kinds of different flavors, and they seem to be a little more flavorful than your regular kidney bean. Although we are growing kidney and Great White Northern too. So, but fascinatingly enough, our kidney beans that we grew are actually probably almost 20% bigger when you stack them next to a dried kidney bean from the store. Now that could just be because, you know, sorting, different year, all kinds of things. But we definitely had a bigger bean.
So we're looking for that again.
I'm hoping so. And next step is I'm just going to puddle these guys in, and then I'll start a fertilization program on them later this week, and we'll just kind of take it from there.
What are you going to use?
I'm going to use the grass JADAM liquid fertilizer, and with a JMS treatment. Probably hit it with the JMS and the fertilizer twice a month while they're growing. Then once they start blooming, I'm going to back off on the fertilizer and just kind of see how they go, because these guys are legumes. So I'm kind of hoping this soil's fertile enough that, you know, we're not going to get into any problems and need any more at that point. So I just want to give them a boost during the growing phase. Any other thoughts?
Nope. Just looking good.
Yeah, I mean, they're a little leggy. I would have preferred to have been, you know, significantly smaller, but I think they'll grow out of it.
But we were also working on the soil, getting it prepped perfectly, we hope.
Yeah, I mean, we took the time to do the JMS treatments to it, and also to the weather. I mean, we probably could have planted them in the tunnel a week ago, but I kind of want to give these guys enough warmth that they'll feel compelled to take off and not just kind of sit there. And so that, again, you know, probably could have done this 7-10 days ago, and they would have been a little less leggy. But like I said, I think they'll come out of it.
That always happens, you know, best laid plans.
Yep. So anyway, thanks for coming along with us today on planting the dried beans for this fall. And so we'll catch you on the next video. Stay safe. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.